Welcome to Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. Each week, the NI Bullpen will be covering the world of comics, talking to creators, deep diving into some fantastic stories, and much more. Now let's hand it over to the team and turn a page.
And what is going on, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are tuned in to Nerd Initiative YouTube for another edition of Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. What is going on? My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also Nerd Initiative editor-in-chief. To my left, you're right at home. It's in his contract.
Coming at you live and direct, straight from a folding chair in the ODPH studios. My name is Off the Cuff Tom, Nerd Initiative's pop culture connoisseur, Ken Allen. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And our guy in the chair, Rich, is back in the studio. It's a special occasion because family of the show is returning.
Yes.
I mean, I always feel weird saying guest because like
he's the lurker in the chat.
I am the lurker. Yeah, get over it. You'll live. You'll be all right.
He is the lurker we approve of in the chat. Let's put it that way. He is also a fantastic writer of such phenomenal series as Pocus Hocus,
yes,
Horus in Hell,
yes,
The Herald, and the series that is coming to a conclusion for now, with a brand new Kickstarter campaign that just launched today, cleared goal in mere hours.
Yes.
But that's what he does, and his whole team over at Squid Spectre. Is that the official title of it now?
Man, we're just kind of bouncing back and forth with stuff. So for right now, we'll just still stay with the old rabbit in a hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always lose track.
I get it, man. You know, we're on that journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Right?
And we are along for the ride with you because returning to the show yet again, our friend, your friend, give him all the money. Allen Dunford is back on Turn a Page. Allen, what is going on?
Hey guys, I am so happy to be here. It's always like coming home, you know, being with you guys on here. So this is always great.
Warning, this is more than PG-13.
Yes. But you know what, like I say, you're always welcome here. I mean, ever since we have crossed paths on our journeys here, seeing the grow and, you know, influence that you've had on our audience, the Kickstarter audience, and just seeing everything that is going on with your team and from Pocus Hocus 1 to now, I mean, it has been a journey of just DIY hustle. And every time out, there's always a buzz going on with your books that it's always like, we worry about Kickstarter projects not getting completed, and yet you guys are pulling it off with ease. So, I mean,
so look behind me. This is currently we are shipping Horus. I am currently shipping Horus in Hell #2. So yeah, over here's the t-shirts and some safety packaging, and then over here are the books laid out in order for me to be able to find them easy. So yeah, it's always listen.
It's not Horus in Hell, it's Dunford in Dilemma.
Dunford in Dilemma. So it's always like, it's such an amazing thing, like whenever you get to like ship your books, because it's like, okay, cool, you know, I get to bring some joy to, or at least some value to people donating to my hobby. But then doing it, like the process of it, it's late at night, you know, you get off work. I don't do this full time, hopefully one day, right? But you know, you do it after work, and you know, late at night, shipping all this stuff, you're tired, but then it's just worth it. I don't know. I love it. It's a love-hate, because, you know, after work, I'm like, God, I'm tired. I don't feel like shipping. But then as soon as I start, it just, you know, it just keeps going.
It rolls from there. Because I mean, obviously, since last time we talked, you've been quite busy. I don't think we ever have like a downtime with you.
Like, it's weird because like I don't feel busy, right? Like I don't know. I guess it's just how we managed our projects and stuff. But whenever I think about it, because, you know, Grandma 4 is already finished. So as soon as the campaign's done, we're wait for the funds to hit. I'll order the books, and then I'll ship it. And then Beneath the Lighthouse is almost finished as well. And we've already started on Pocus 6. So it's just, it's a lot of stuff. And then, you know, obviously Horus 3 is coming down the pipeline soon as well.
Yes. Which, I mean, we're all excited for it. I think Horace has won everybody over at Nerd Initiative.
Yeah, I just can't wait to do the voice again.
Yes.
That's the only reason why you want me on here.
Yes, we just were bringing you on for nonstop of the voice, and like I say, is you're seeing the covers come for issue 4, and like we said, the Kickstarter campaign is live right now, so you definitely want to make sure you're checking that out in the liner notes of this episode, and also like I say, it will be in the podcast form as well when it's coming out at ODPH later this week. This is just, I mean, what a time to be here. I mean, Tom, what are you saying?
Wait, I got to remember that I only get one cuss word a half hour.
Before we get demonetized, right?
The YouTube algorithm. I'm just excited because Alan was kind enough to share us issue 4, and trust me, everybody, you're just gonna love it.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
yeah, we were
go
very
ahead.
happy. No, so we were very happy with how it turned out.
Oh yeah, as you should be, because I mean, like going into this, I was gonna say, like we always kind of talk about like the fear and trepidation of doing campaigns like this. Like, what was the vibe going into this week?
I don't know. I think it was like a bittersweet vibe because we've been working on Grandma for a while now, and I think I remember whenever I first brought the idea to you, Ken. I think you knew about Grandma before almost anybody.
Mm-hmm.
When it was just like the spark of an idea, and I talked to you about it, and you were like, "No, it sounds great." And then I sent you issue 1 pretty early, and the whole goal of it from the beginning was to make sure that we subverted expectation, right? And that's been our whole thing with each issue. And I think with this issue, the vibe that I had going into this week was, I hope whenever people read this, it didn't go where they thought it was going to go, and it left them with somewhat of a satisfying ending, right? Because I think that's the big fear. Whenever you're doing this series, it's like, I'm always thinking, like, whenever an idea comes into my head, I'm like, well, how do I end it? And I hope I did that okay.
So can you give us, everybody who hasn't oddly paid attention to us, wailing the banner for this one, can you give us a brief summary of everything up to now?
Yeah. So the story of Grandma Chainsaw, it starts out simple enough. We embrace what really inspires us, right? The story follows four people who get lost in the woods, and their car breaks down, and they end up at a sweet little old lady's house. So obviously we got the tropes out of the way, right? That's that. So what happens, the whole series takes place in one night, and it obviously the 2 people in the party die pretty early on, and the 2 survivors, who are brother and sister, they try to run out of the house, but they're trapped in the woods, and they run into a gang of misfits, I guess we'll say.
Legends.
They run into
right about
yes,
that.
they run into a group of legends.
Anti-Scooby-Doo gang.
Yes, yeah.
Legends.
So they run into a group of legends, and these legends figure out that, hey, the only way to get out of here, we got to kill Grandma, right? And then it's just our journey into the house and all the stuff that we can come up with.
Now, you mentioned the best part about tropes. We were just talking about this before we went on and you came in. Did you like have a whiteboard like sitting somewhere like, okay, I need this trope, I need that trope, I need this trope, I need that trope. I needed to make sure I hit every single one by the time I finish this.
I mean, I want to say no, because I really try to do my best and to not plan the fun out of it, right? So whenever the co-writer on this, Will, whenever he and I are spitballing ideas, we know our beginning, middle, and end. So that's always pretty concrete, but it's what we do around it. We just kind of riff, and it becomes second nature to a point. And yeah, I obviously, like I said, the tropes are there. I mean, there was probably I like this, let's throw that in, right? Because obviously a lot of inspirations for this thing, like, The Exorcist, Evil Dead, stuff like that. Like, it's I don't know, man. It's just so much. It's stupid fun. I think that's the best way I can go with it.
I'm not saying that the tropes are a bad thing. I think the tropes are there
Yeah.
as a fantastic homage to what we've all come up with.
Mhm.
And because of how fun you've made this universe and fierce, it's there and it's a nice little respite. It gives you, oh, he did the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
See,
get
I
that.
love, like, obviously familiarity, right?
Yeah.
And that's huge, especially whenever you're trying to get a new reader base or an audience. And I didn't want to, you don't want to go too far with some of the stuff. And I think we reined it in, and the tropes helped us do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing too, especially with how horror has really blown up, and
Mhm.
to see how you do a take on it. Because one thing that this series really does is proves there's comedy and tragedy,
Right.
as weird as that sounds. And is that something that kind of plays into your writing when you're thinking about doing Pocus and you're doing Grandma Chainsaw?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, without a doubt. I am 100% one of those. You have to laugh to keep from crying, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I'm always trying to find the silver lining in any situation, whether it's my everyday life, or if I'm trying to think about the future, or um, or if I'm working on a new book or a script. Like, I'm not saying everything has to have a happy ending,
Mhm.
but whenever I do have someone that's reading something I wrote, I do want them to kind of have a smile on their face, and take that also with the bittersweet as well. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're not having fun reading what I've written, then I don't feel like I did my job.
Mm. And that's something too. I mean, you're very aware of the audience.
Yes.
I think like that's one thing you and your team do very, very well is to connect on that level and really have a sense of like writing the story, but also knowing what your audience is more pro to.
Mhm.
And it's not saying you're not afraid to take risks, but you know what they appreciate, what they dive into, and you really kind of take it and just crank it up to 10.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, aside from that, what else is going on right now in the Pocus verse? I guess we could possibly call it.
So yeah, we're very happy to get back to Pocus Hocus, because I feel like it's been, God, it's been over a year now since we've done an issue of Pocus, because we were actually going to do Pocus 6 before we did Grandma 4. But after Grandma 3, we were like, no, let's just, and I hate sounding like this because it sounds like we just wanted to get it over with.
Mm.
But I mean, that's pretty much the conversation we had. We're like, well, let's just go ahead and end it, right? Let's we're almost there, almost to the finish line. Let's finish it. And it's because we love it, and we were sad whenever Brian sent us over the last page. It sucked because it's like, no, I don't want this to end. But again, we really didn't want a Jason Takes Manhattan situation. So the
How could you not?
Jason X. Jason X.
Jason in
well,
space?
no, okay, so Jason X that's a whole nother god tier, right? Of just fantastic.
It's one of my
Um,
favorites.
yeah, I have a PowerPoint presentation ready for that movie. So whenever you guys need to talk about that, you bring me back on.
Oh,
But
don't tease us with
Oh.
that. You know who you're talking to.
but yeah, so obviously we're ending Grandma, and we already showed the cover for Pocus 6, which Brian and Carrie did such a good job on that one. And the big part with it too is we were so excited to just finally get back into this, because I think we've kind of had our uh a little appetizer by doing Horus, because we do get to be in the Pocus universe a little bit with Horus, right? But now we're actually going back to the main story with it, and that's just so exciting for us. And of course, Pocus 6 is going to pick right back up where Pocus 5 left off, and we're already planning up to Pocus 8 right now to try to close this arc out.
I mean everybody's excited about that because like say when you think about the Pocus verse,
Yeah.
and just really how it started and it's really evolved, and like now Grandma Chainsaw is the first quote unquote final issue with issue number 4 currently available on
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
little bunny ears.
You know, was this a difficult issue or choice to make about ending it, or was it just always you had in your back of your mind a beginning, a middle, end with this?
Yeah, we always had a beginning, middle, end. Of course, we talked about, like, okay, if this really takes off, what can we do? What can we do? Can we safely do a spin-off series if this is something we want to come back to later? Can we do side stories with the Dead Squad? Does anyone care about that? Right?
Yes.
So yeah, we have some ideas for what we think we want to do with that, but it's the idea is to do like Dead Squad short stories.
Oh my god! I had an apostrophe. I did.
Okay, what's your apostrophe?
Okay, so you know how it's what the heck was his name? Brian, the brother, brother of Christ, right? Like had the Dead Squad go against all the brothers or sisters or siblings of like the D tier classic monsters, like not the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's the guy in the swimming pool.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. That's actually not far off from some of the stuff that we thought about.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, which is really funny. But the other thing too is we wanted to make everything intertwinable, right? Obviously, Pocus takes place in the past, and Grandma Chainsaw takes place in the present. But we do subtle nods to
and
one
Horus
or the
is
other.
timeless.
Yeah, and Horus he's timeless. So like in Grandma Chainsaw issue 2, there's Pocus and Emily are actually in that issue. Like there's a cutout of them in there, right? And it's little stuff like that just to kind of show like, hey, these worlds are a little bit connected because we've thought about some crazy stuff with Pocus and Hazel, but obviously we never want to force anything. We want the ideas to feel organic and natural. So if we do feel like the idea struck us, that we'll definitely come back to that.
I mean, I'm just saying Dead Squad versus Horus.
Yeah.
I've been pitching this for a year plus now.
It wouldn't matter. Horus would just shred through them, man.
I don't know. Because something happens in issue 4, currently available on Kickstarter, that might change a mind. And I'm not going to spill it. Nope. I read it and I said, this said character might give Horus a run for the money.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I'm just saying, like, we saw what Horus did in Hell.
Yeah.
But what happens if he somehow crashes, Grandma Chainsaw's house?
Nope.
I mean, would we have a Horus versus Hazel moment? I mean, I think that would be out of control.
Yeah, that would that'd be wild.
Yes. Like I say, there's just so many possibilities too, especially too with how Grandma Chainsaw comes off looking very traditional in its story. And really when you start deep diving into it, it literally goes into all types of different directions. And especially to where we wind up going to that 4th issue.
Right.
When you were plotting this out, did you really want to go, without spoiling too much, really into a direction that fans were not expecting, or you're just kind of like, well, let me see if I can just take a traditional horror idea and flip it on its 180?
I mean, yeah, 100% where no one expected, right? Because the best criticism that I got back from Grandma Chainsaw was people saying I didn't expect that, especially with issue 1 with how it ended, because I feel like a lot of people, whenever they picked it up and read it, they were thinking the whole time it was just going to be a grandma running around hacking people up with a chainsaw. I mean, as fun as that is, and as fun as that would be to write, I didn't know how sustainable that would have been for 4 issues, unless we would have really tried to like take it into a totally different direction.
Now, were you planning on doing 4 issues, or did you kind of have that little buffer like, well, we can do 4 to 6, but then as it came out, you realized thematically it's best if we stick to 4?
Yeah, we planned 4, and I was afraid we were going to have to go to 5, and I didn't know if, like, that's the thing, right? Like when it comes to limited series, I'm still figuring this out, right? Because I mean, Pocus 1 came out in 2021, I think, and so we've been doing this for about 3 years now, and it feels like a lifetime already.
It's crazy to think that, though, but it's true. Like, for where you guys started and now where you're at with this, like, the journey, like, it's truly phenomenal,
dude. It's wild. So, whenever we were writing Grandma 4, because like I said, it was one of those like, hey, I don't know if we want to do 4 issues and we want to try to extend it. But I didn't feel like there was going to be enough there to extend it without it feeling like, no pun intended, without it feeling like filler, right? Because it's like there's only so much you want to do, and this story's been so fast paced from the beginning. I didn't want to lose that momentum, so I think that was why we made the decision to make this an extra large issue, where it traditionally we try to just do 28 pages. Because one, print cost is expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
and
To say the least.
and two, I have to pay more on a page rate then, right? So the more
Yeah.
I can keep going. But the decision just we made it 36 pages on this one. So it's 8 additional pages, and we felt like those 8 pages allowed us to get the story that we were proud of and that we wanted to tell in it.
You definitely put the whipped cream and the cherry on top instead of giving us a whole extra course that was unneeded.
Yeah, we just had to have it, man. And the ending where in the last okay, so you guys have read it. So in the last couple of pages, we meet someone, and we just had to put that character in there. There was no way we couldn't throw that in there.
See, yeah.
Yeah, and all we can do is smile, nod, and say yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Because as you see, the QR code is on the screen right now. Everybody should be going hitting that up left and right. Make sure you don't miss a copy of this. Because yeah, there is so many surprises in this finale.
What a twist!
It's a twist.
Yes, it is a twist, but it is something that you get your money's worth too. And especially one thing that if anybody is new to what Allen and his team does is their Kickstarter campaigns are always well worth the money.
Yes.
So, I mean, Allen, what would you say right now is your opinion of like the current state of comics and Kickstarter?
So it's weird, right? Because now this is me with an uneducated opinion. But I feel like a lot of people kind of surfaced, and obviously this is me too. I swear I heard somewhere that like Kickstarter had their big boom whenever COVID happened, right? Especially with the indie comics community as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that, everyone's trying to find a good creative outlet because there was so much going on at that time. And like I said, I remember I called up Will and I asked him if he just wanted to write a comic book because we had nothing else to do. So that's kind of like what fueled all of this. But with Kickstarter, how it is currently, I feel like there's more projects than ever now. Like I'm getting so much stuff popping up, and as you get integrated into the indie scene, you start meeting all these great people and all these great creators, and there's so many books out there. And I think that what we try to do over at our team is we just try to keep our head down, and we just try to worry about us, and we just try to focus on, are we still delivering the best product for our reader base, and are we making weird enough titles to get a new reader base? To
interesting titles, interesting, not weird.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
And are we making interesting enough titles to get people in, or at least intrigued? Because like I said, I just feel like there's so much out there, and it's you just kind of stand out a little bit, or find a way to stand out. So, and that's why we're hoping, like with something like a title like Grandma Chainsaw, a title like Horus in Hell, or something as stupid as Pocus Hocus, that makes you kind of do a double take, and you're like, "What's this?" Yeah, just anything, just to kind of just get you engaged, and promise it's a lot of fun.
Now, with everything going on in Kickstarter, and I will partially agree that there's a little bit of an oversaturation for me in the realms I deal in. Outside of comics, board games, and so on and so forth. But aside from that, what is new going on with this particular campaign that, is already funded, but it can always use more money?
Yeah.
So with this one, what we decided to do was kind of focus on just the Grandma Chainsaw book itself, because usually we have a bunch of add-ons for like Pocus Ketchup, Horus Ketchup, things like that. We do like additives, like I don't know, you start to kind of figure out your reader base and the stuff that they like. So with this one, the only thing you can add on is just Grandma Chainsaw 1, 2, 3, or the Kit Wallace covers from 1, 2, 3. And we just wanted just to celebrate this book, because we have Pocus Hocus, the first volume, so issues 1 through 4 available as a trade on here. And that's the only extra thing you get, because we also, for people who are new, we also want to kind of give them a little taste of, hey, Pocus 6 is coming out. So you can view this and get ready for that, and then that's when we'll integrate Horus back into it, because of course the Pocus series and Horus, I mean, they go right beside each other, because the Horus series is canon inside our Pocus universe.
Yes.
So, and that was something that we wanted to make too. We didn't want to make the Horus series just to be a one-off thing. We wanted it to also take place inside of Pocus, because we feel like it gives it more weight then.
Very
Um,
much.
yeah, but yeah, so with the Grandma campaign, this one is different because this is literally just a celebration of all the work that the team has done to get us to this point.
I like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you have to, because it is a celebration. Because you think about for where you started with Pocus 1 and how many years ago that was, and you're still going and still growing. Like, that is a phenomenal feat in this day and age, because you don't really hear those success stories that often.
Mhm.
And especially being very indie and really just getting the word of mouth out there, and seeing now, like, you're at this moment where it is a time to celebrate. Like, it's a bittersweet moment, because
Yeah.
fans that have been reading this series have really enjoyed it, and to see it go, I mean, it is a bittersweet moment, but it's something that we know there's more coming on the way, especially in the Pocus verse, which everybody really, like, I don't think if you are not reading Pocus Hocus, I don't really think our audience understands like the reach Pocus has. And I'm dead serious about this. I
Yeah.
get messaged more times than not. I don't want to put a real number out there, because I know I'm gonna get somebody fired up. I get messaged so much about, like, do you know when the next issue of Pocus is coming? What about Horus? Like, the word of mouth has really built into something, like, for me, watching outside looking in,
Yeah.
it's awesome to see, because I know how much hard work your team puts into this.
It's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat.
Oh, it's weird, right?
Yeah. But it's something that it really just, it's monumental to see it. I mean, especially to think, like, when you started Pocus 1 to where we are now, like, did you ever think it would blow up to this big?
Hell no. we thought Pocus was just going to be a 4-issue maybe run and done, right? Like, we thought that we were going to just do this, and maybe a couple people would be interested in it, as long as we were, at least making somewhat of our money back. And once it was done, it was done. I'm like, okay, cool, we did it, it's over, right? And then I'll never forget whenever we launched Pocus 2, and it was one of those, like, oh my god moments. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Are people's standards this low? And and then
Very
you know
extremely low. We want to
and
see
then-
you do so bad
yeah
that we're just going to put our money into it and watch their brains explode.
yeah are people that desperate for entertainment right now? Are we the only book on Kickstarter? So then it was just a jump. I'm not saying like we did like anything like crazy, right? But it was crazy for us, from coming out of nowhere. And of course, I always like to give a shout out to Mike Teener and everyone at Bad Bug for always staying behind us, and really pushing the pushing the book out, even back before I felt like anyone even knew who we were, right? And I'm not saying people, I can't enter a chat room and people know who I am, but you know what I mean?
Yet.
Like, your titles, yeah, yet. But like, you do hope your titles at least start getting some traction, right? And that's what happened with our jump that we had from Pocus 1 to Pocus 2, because we jumped over like 100 some backers, and it was just like, oh my god, like, we didn't do anything different. You know what I mean? We were just writing the story and having fun. And then Pocus 3 was bigger than that, and then Pocus 4 was bigger than that, and it was just like, god. And then, so it was, I think it was after Pocus 2, we were writing for the script, and we pivot and made the story fit to where we could keep going, because the idea for Pocus, Grandma Chainsaw doesn't fit into this category, because it, with the subject matter for us, it wasn't sustainable for a long form series. But Pocus Hocus, from where it's this giant world full of fantasy and magic and all this stuff, there's really the sky's the limit if you for the stuff you can achieve with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that just it resonates too, because like I say, watching this all grow over the years, it just like I say, that's the easiest way I can describe it. It's a nonstop growing experience. And it's something I think that fans have been looking for. Like we see in the stage of comics, like right now, and one thing that we'll always preach here, this is one of the best times to be in comics as a reader, because there's so much variety out there that it's not just the big two. And you're seeing a lot more creators just really deep dive in and really just having fun with it. And I think that that's one of the key components about why your stuff has really been resonating with fans. That
I appreciate that.
yeah, well, everybody can read it, and you can definitely tell when people are enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah, like Ken always has the biggest shitty and grin when we talk about this stuff. I'll just say it. There's my one for the half hour. Thank you very much.
There you go.
But you know, honest to God, it's the truth though, because when you pick it up, you can read it, and you can definitely tell, like, all right, we're having fun here. We're not worrying too much about, like, so to speak, the sales. Like this is a fun project for you, the fans, to get on board with.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
100%.
And it connects on such a level with the audience. They say like, so when everybody knows come out, they're like, oh, I know what's happening here, and they want to see how it's progressing too, because you get won over by the characters.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a testament to the writing.
Again, the characters are that's my favorite part. I think it is like, you know, I love writing. Obviously, the main characters are fun, but I love the side characters, and the Dead Squad fits into that too. And I just want everyone to read the Dead Squad and know them and love to hate them as much as I do.
Hate,
exonerate.
Here, let me throw this out through the chat, super chat. Everybody watching on X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. If you've been reading Pocus, I want to know who your favorite character in the Pocus verse is. Put it in the chat. Let's see them, because we do need more Dead Squad, especially after issue 4.
Oh my God.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
Be careful what you guys wish for. Yeah, thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up in chat.
If you know, you know.
So let me spin that to you, sir. Out of all the characters you've written, who has been the favorite and why?
Oh, and I'm going to follow it up by saying, which one is most like yourself?
Oh God. That one's tough. I've never thought about that. God, I've actually never thought about that. I think the character that's most like myself is probably Hayden and Grandma.
Okay.
Just because always trying to keep it together, always trying to see a way out, see the positives, right, in everything, and really like try to go through a situation the best way that you can, even when you feel like you can't. But as far as my favorite character that I've written, oh my God,
who's got the best dialogue? 2 tons.
I don't know. Yeah, 2 tons easy. Dude, I kind of like. I think I like Boris.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Boris is just fun. Like, because I grew up watching a lot of like mob movies and stuff like that. Movies that my dad definitely should not have let me watch as a kid. So I grew up watching, like, especially like a lot of like Mission Impossible movies and, Godfather, Goodfellas, stuff like that. So I love those kind of characters. And I think Boris kind of is definitely a testament to all of those things. Like, now that I really think about it, just because he's just so fun. He's just, he's just a bad guy. And he's really bad at hiding it.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to hide it at all.
Yeah.
he's happy being who he is.
100%.
Now, with all the characters and everything, and as much as you're expanding the Pocus and everything, what other projects can we possibly talk about that you might have coming up?
Okay, so the projects that we have coming up, obviously we mentioned it. Pocus Hocus number 6 is coming up. The other ones we have, Ken, I think we've talked about this last time, didn't we? Beneath the Lighthouse.
Yep, talked a little bit about it. We did not go into like a full deep dive.
Yeah, so Beneath the Lighthouse is probably about 50% done right now. That one is our first fully black and white book, and it's definitely, I guess, and I hate it because I'm sure everyone compares it to this and probably tired of saying it, but like it's our A24-esque book,
Okay.
because I wanted it, like, this one's not fun. Yeah, this one is not a good time. I wanted just a one-shot standalone story. And I think that we captured that with this. And of course, Brian's doing the artwork for it, and he's fantastic. I love that
Yeah.
guy so much.
Yeah, his artwork is lights out, man.
Dude. Yeah, Brian's just awesome. And then of course we have Horus in Hell #3.
Yes.
Yes. And Horus in 3 will be the second to last issue in the Horus in Hell series. Well, we have a second issue or a second run plan for another Horus thing, and its working title right now is Horus in Heaven. So
Ooh.
I just want to do the voice. I don't care. If you do the graphic, the graphic novel version or the movie, whatever the heck they called it, I would just be available to do the voice the whole time. I'm more than happy.
That's all you want from me?
That's all I want. I just want to do the voice. Voice right by your time.
Well, whenever we get a call from a studio, I'll be like, "Hey, listen, I know the guy already. You're not going to believe it."
Nobody would.
And then after that, I mean, we're going to keep rolling on Pocus. We're going to Pocus 7, and I think that's it for right now.
That he's legally obligated to tell us.
Yes, that we're ready to fully commit to saying this is the schedule.
I mean, that is a loaded deck, though, too, to say the least. But I mean, it just goes to show, like, to kind of go back to what we're saying, like, it all builds off the Kickstarter audience and really supporting the campaigns that you are putting out, because we always get our money's worth too. And especially with this one, getting the offer for the trade, getting everything, for this book. And this is a perfect Halloween story. Like I say, when we're always looking for something to get checking out in the fall. But even though too, like, for how horror is blown up on the movies, like we're seeing a big resurgence of that, even with TV, like to factor this in there too. And it's not just a traditional horror vibe.
Well, if you remember, I said this before, that the Grandma Chainsaw is easy enough for a lot of people to get into. And I've said it how many times. I don't do a lot of horror because of my wife. This is something easy enough I can give to my wife, and she'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, it might be a little gory, but like there's no big jump scares. There's no, I'm not saying that to take away from it. I'm just saying
no. I get that. Yeah. No, and that's okay. So that's like the number one thing, right? Like accessibility. And especially, whenever, and of course the Herald 2, that's in production right now too. And the Herald was something like that too, because the Herald was my first soiree into a Western, and I still wanted to put my own supernatural twist on it. And I hope that, especially whenever that one comes up, the story that Ruben and I have kind of crafted with that, you don't see the ending coming with that one either. And again, Grandma Chainsaw, accessible, right? I think that's like we talked about at the top of the show, that's the point of the tropes, right? Familiarity. You're comfortable with it. And then that's when you can start like kind of drip feeding like weirder stuff in there, right?
But that's like, say, we got the open door to do it. You got to run with it, and I think that's one thing that we see this with Pocus too, and especially now today in pop culture. I mean, we're seeing everything old is new again, so to speak. We're seeing a big resurgence in the '90s. So let me throw a curveball at you.
Curveball.
If you had to have Grandma Chainsaw face off against anyone from X-Men '97, who would it be and why? Chad, you can throw your picks in too.
Because you guys know the ending.
Shit.
Probably Wolverine.
Okay. With or without the claws, or metal, I should say.
With.
Okay.
We don't want to make it too easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say barrel bone Wolverine versus Hazel.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that would be an interesting story.
All right, who's your pick?
Oh, for me? Oh, simple. Magneto.
Cable.
See, I thought about Magneto was my second choice. I thought about that one.
Yeah.
I say Cable.
Cable would be a good choice.
Yeah, I've tried to take out this woman 200 times.
Yeah. It's the same in every timeline.
Exactly.
You just see like, the messages like Hazel likes to leave to welcome the readers in. Just Hazel was right the entire time. I mean, I wish we could do a graphic for that, but obviously legal reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like I say, we're seeing just such a resurgence in there, and I could see a very cool moment happen in there too. Like I see the chat's definitely thrown in there. Love seeing those picks too. I see Hydra Asylum Comics is saying I'm going Storm. That'd be a great standoff too.
Can we get the kids from Bayside High against Hazel?
Let's
Man,
throw
Hazel
that.
a chance then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you beat Zach Morris?
I
No,
mean, unless he
probably.
stops time and talks to everybody.
Yeah.
So there it was. I was stuck in this weird lady's house, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna get my big old cell phone.
That would be incredible.
I'm here all week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, but it's a testament to how the timeless factor is in with Chainsaw Grandma, and to really see what Hazel can go and really transcend to. Like I say, it's one of those stories that if you haven't gotten into horror, this is a very good one to come into.
Yes,
because it's not the traditional format. It's something that'll have different elements that'll just make you laugh. It will definitely have its gore fest there too. I don't want to reveal too much, but the artwork is definitely not pulling any punches, and I love seeing that.
it's the best B movie you'll get in a comic book,
And that's
and I
exactly
mean that
what
with
I
love.
want. Dude, Ken, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember whenever I sent you that picture when Joe Bob Briggs sent back and said that he can't wait to do a deep psychological dive in the Grandma Chainsaw?
Yes.
That was like my soul left my body whenever that happened. That was great.
Yeah, I would say, like, is there a defining moment, from now to then that you say, like, that's when you knew, like, I've made it, like, this is it?
I mean, that was great, but I as sentimental as this is, launching the second campaign for Pocus 2 and seeing the outpouring of support, like that's when, like, I don't want to say like I've made it, but that's when I felt like I found my place, or I knew I was on the right track.
No, that's fair.
I would completely. Yep.
So I mean, obviously, we just got a couple more questions for you, but obviously, you're still growing, still evolving. If you and your team could write a story with any character, who would it be and why?
Batman. Done. Like we've all talked about this. We all want to do a Batman story, just because we all love Batman so much.
So coming from this horror background, would you do a horror Batman? Will we get something twisted like Scarecrow or a Joker, or even just come off with some weird Mayan artifact driven bad gal?
Man, I think okay, Dave's in chat, our letterer. Yeah. Yeah, see, he knows. I don't know, because I think, like, if we talk to everyone in the chat, or everyone on the chat, everyone on the team, we all might have a different one that we would want to do, but I would love to do like a Mr. Freeze story. I just think that would be a lot of fun to do.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, who would win, Grandma Chainsaw or Batman?
How much prep time does Batman have?
2 minutes.
Fuck Batman.
No, I mean that's absolutely the correct answer. Batman with a minute of prep time can basically take over the MCU anytime he wants.
He calls fate, boom, done.
Yeah,
it's
a quick phone call. I mean, obviously, though, everybody can kind of get the vibe from this. Picking up Grandma Chainsaw, that's what obviously everybody should be picking up this summer. It's going to be one of the biggest books coming out, and like I say, if you haven't gotten into the Pocus verse, this is a perfect entryway into it.
What are you waiting for?
And then you can go deep dive into Pocus, and then the man, the myth, the bunny, the phenom himself, Horus in Hell. Like I say, there's so much going on in this universe that we can't stress enough that this Kickstarter campaign is something that needs to be signed up. I love seeing it on the QR codes. We are seeing a lot of clicks for that. So definitely make sure you check into this series. And obviously, if we have to say like a final sales pitch for anybody that's been sitting here tonight, Alan, that is still questioning why they should check this out, what are you telling them?
If you are bad with money and it is burning a hole in your pocket, buy my comics, and that's it. No. Okay. Final pitch. If
No,
you
that,
are
that works. That works.
Okay, yeah.
But no, you have another one.
Okay, yeah, okay. This is my second one. If you didn't like the first one, if you are a fan of weird, wacky comedy horror, and maybe something that you haven't read before, and I would hope that maybe you haven't read before, because I'm going to be absolutely devastated if someone comes back and be like, "Oh, this is just like the twist in," and then name like some really obscure French movie that from like the '70s that I haven't seen. I will be heartbroken. But no, if you just like books that don't take themselves too seriously, that are self-aware of what we're doing and what's going on, I just really want you guys to join this with us, because I do feel like we are creating something fun and unique over here with all the stuff we're doing.
That's absolutely perfectly said, Tom.
Just more horse, please.
Oh, don't worry.
That's all I want.
Yeah. I mean, but from a fan's perspective, jumping into this universe is a well worth investment.
Yes,
because for somebody that reads a lot of comics,
he does.
This is always one that will always get my attention because of the quality that's put in. Because you think you're going to get something and you get an entirely new project done, right from the lettering to the coloring to the artwork and the writing. Like, it's the complete package that this team has been doing, and really exemplifies about the DIY style of just having an idea, running with it, and really being in touch with the audience. And that is something that will always win out at the comic shops, because you want to feel like when you pick up a book, you're getting your money's worth. There's so much out there. There's so much great stuff out there, but we all can't go buy everything. But when you spend your money on this and really support this team and what they're doing, there's a reason that they have grown so much since the days of Pocus 1 to now and beyond, when we start getting the Horus franchise, which is going to start rivaling the Batman books per month
exponentially
in every single facet. That is why you spend your money on this. That is why you're clicking the QR code tonight. That's why you're going to be checking it out when we have the links up on nerdinitiative.com and odphpodcast.com. And then, maybe you have to watch those socials. We might have to do something else for that too.
Yes, we very much do.
Because we believe in this comic, because we believe in the quality that this team has been putting out.
Well, thank you guys very, very much. And, I always say this for everyone watching. These guys are very genuine on screen, but they are also incredible people off screen.
Aww.
I appreciate the kind words, my friend. So that being said, Alan, any final plugs about where to catch up with you on the social medias?
No, honestly, the best thing to do, and this is what I found out early in the comic book world, follow our newsletter. It's thetophatstudios.substack.com, and then just follow us on Kickstarter, because I've, like you said, Ken, like, I just feel like we always have stuff going on. So that's the best way to get everything right now. And obviously check out the fine folks over at Bad Bug Media as well. Because they always have stuff going on, and it's always another good way just to kind of expand your palette too.
Absolutely. Like I say, it's an amazing time to get into comics, no matter what you're reading. And a lot of the indie publishers are absolutely crushing it right now. So if you really want to go deep diving on those Wednesdays, this is the perfect time to go do it. Go check out the comic shops, something new to pick up after you click on that QR code, and make sure you get your copy of Grandma Chainsaw. That's the homework assignment number 1 this week.
Okay.
So that being said, Tom, why don't you let everybody know what's going on with you and the Off the Cuff brand?
Well, I mean, first, okay, we're done with that. Hi, how you doing? You can check me out every Tuesday night here doing Turn a Page, but also we've got the whole new TV talk here on Nerd Initiative. Every single Monday night, we're doing Doctor Who in review. Next week, I have on my next companion is going to be Matt from Hops Geeks News is going to be hanging out with me. Can't wait to do that. And then on Wednesdays, obviously, we've got those new comic books.
Yeah. And for anything going on with me and the ODPH, odphpodcast.com, we'll take you. We've got brand new episodes coming out. And in fact, another interview coming out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is
you'll be seeing red.
Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of red. And it is a very, very solid interview that I was super amped up about, because I'm super amped up about the book that's coming out too. So if you want to find out about that, you just got to make sure you subscribe for that. But also super chat, definitely making some noise tonight. I want to give everybody a shout out that was in there too, seeing all those comments pop in. Absolutely, everybody's crushing it tonight. So if you want more of that, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, turn a page here on Nerd Initiative YouTube and all streaming services. But YouTube is where you're going to get exclusive content. So that's why we always make a big point about saying the homework assignment when we get to that. But obviously, we want to plug the guy in the chair too as well. If you want to check out everything going on with the 3FN podcast, He has got a brand new episode up right now with Rich and Ron and Diesel talking Batman 89. So if you want a little movie review with an adult humor twist, that is the place you need to go each and every time you get these honest reviews, and they'll definitely have a lot to say about the classic Tim Burton film. But also Wednesday, as we say, is New Comic Book Day. Every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, every 15 minutes, a new comic review is dropping on nerdinitiative.com. Last week was 30 reviews.
Jeez.
Oof.
So this week, let's see what happens. And I know sooner than later, you're going to be seeing Grandma Chainsaw 4 enter the field. But you'll have to be subscribed to Nerd Initiative to go see that. So I'm just going to say, you'll have to keep your eyes out for that and don't miss it when it comes out after you click on that QR code and sign up for your own copy as well. And Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Off the Top Rope, Wrestling Night Live. If you want to talk about the latest and greatest in the land of pro wrestling, it is very simple. That is where you need to go to talk to Rich, myself, and new guy Nick, because we're breaking down AEW, WWE, and so many more. It's the perfect conversation for anybody that wants to get into the world of pro wrestling. Last but certainly not least, nerdinitiative.com. Go head over to the website. Check out everything that's going on over there. If you want to talk TV, you talk to Tom. You want to talk comics, you talk to me. If you want to talk wrestling, you talk to Rich. And a whole bunch of amazing creators that are putting in work consistently and growing the channel each and every day. It is a beautiful thing to watch as the new revolution of nerd is taking over.
My heart is aflutter.
Yes. And because it's in the contract to our one boss, we have to make sure we plug about Nerd Initiative merchandise. So if you want to get some con gear to go out to San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and any other cons that you're going to in the summer and support the brand of pop culture positivity, boom, click on that and it'll take you where you need to go so you can get hooked up with some swag for the summer. And last but certainly not least is the homework assignment that we said about Nerd Initiative YouTube. You want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the bell notification for icons, and tap that thumbs up to let our boss know that you like what you're seeing here at the home of pop culture positivity. Allen, it is always a pleasure. You know you have an open door to pop in and say hi whenever you want. And like I say, I wish you nothing but the best with this new campaign, because trust me, after reading this and signing up for it, because yes, I'm not only a client, I do support the brand.
He does.
Yeah, like I say, fans are really going to be diving into this, and I expect everybody to really dig this out.
Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys next month.
Yeah. Let's say we'll just have to create a residency for you.
Yeah.
It'll work out there. So we'll end it like we always do here on Turn a Page. For Tom, for myself, for Matt, who couldn't make it tonight, and for Allen. When you're at the comic shops and you have a great issue in your hand that you got acquired via Kickstarter, Grandma Chainsaw number 4, and you see somebody struggling to find something at the shops, hand yours off to them. Tell them to turn a page. We'll see you next week.
I'm out.